amazing human beings. God, it feels so good to be back. It feels so good to say that again. I've missed you. Hello, you amazing human beings. I'm Lauren Frontiera, and I am the creator of The Real Female Entrepreneur, which is coming really soon and was previously Grit and Glitter Co., or the Grit and Glitter podcast. If you've been following along here on YouTube, you know this already because I've been walking you through this entire freaking journey, crazy, wild journey, and you know that everything's changing, and it's so exciting. But The Real Female Entrepreneur is coming really soon, so be sure to check out the website at therealfemaleentrepreneur.com, and you can sign up to be the first to know when everything happens. Now, welcome to technically week 12's video diary update, but it's going to be week 11 and week 12 all rolled into one because I just moved from North Carolina to Colorado, and life's been crazy, so I didn't really film a video last week, which would have been week 11. So, welcome to week 11-12 video diary update. If you're new around here, these weekly video diary updates are where I take you behind the scenes and pull back the curtains and take you along on the journey with me from what was originally taking my podcast from podcast to profitable. But that's back when it was just the Grit and Glitter podcast. And this whole journey that started out as just like one journey has become something entirely different. Isn't that life though? Like, life, you do this to us. So now it's the journey from taking what was the Grit and Glitter podcast and transforming it into now the Real Female Entrepreneur, which just, there's so much. So this is me taking you behind the scenes and sharing the reality of life and business and everything every week. So after my last video diary, which was week 10, we packed up the rest of our house, like what hadn't been packed up at that point, and we moved across the country. We left the Saturday after July 4th, and we drove Saturday to Nashville, and we got to check out Nashville, which was really cool. We were only downtown for like 2 hours, but it was still cool, and there was loud music everywhere. And then on Sunday, we drove to Kansas City, and then on Monday, we came to Denver, and so we got here and moved into our apartment last Tuesday, and we pretty much spent the entire week last week, which would have been week 11, unboxing and organizing our apartment. We went from a 3-bedroom house in North Carolina to a 1-bedroom apartment here in downtown Denver, and you'd think that, you know, downsizing would make it easier, but it still took us an entire week to get everything unboxed and put away, and it's moving is a freaking job, and it's exhausting. So hence why there was not a video last week, because it was just crazy town around here. And if you're following on social media, you still missed all of that, because the week before we moved, the week of July 4th, I made a really spontaneous decision. And by spontaneous, I mean I had the idea like 1 second out of nowhere and said, yeah, I'm doing this. But so I had the idea to go on a social media hiatus, and I did. And if you follow me on Instagram, you know that I love IG stories, and I love documenting life. And the reason I decided to go on the social media hiatus at first was because I was just feeling really overwhelmed. And I think at the time it's because I was recording a lot of season 3's episodes, which you haven't heard yet, and I was getting stuff ready for changing things over for the Real Female Entrepreneur, and we were also trying to move across the country. And I felt like whenever I have social media on my phone, it consumes so much of my mental and emotional energy. And I don't think I'm the only one that feels that way. But I realized it was zapping the creativity out of me, and I was pouring all of my mental and emotional energy into social media, when what I really need to be pouring all that energy into right now is the launch of the Real Female Entrepreneur and season 3 of the podcast and the huge rebrand. And so that was really the driver behind the social media hiatus. And after I decided to go off of social media and I deleted the apps from my phone, it hit me that meant that I wasn't going to be able to document any of us moving across the country, and I wouldn't be able to share that with everyone on Instagram, and I love doing that, and it made me kind of sad. And for a second I was like, this is going to be really hard to do. But I'll be really honest, it hasn't been that hard at all. There were a few times when we were driving across the country where I was like, oh man, I wish I could share this right now. I wish I could show people what we're doing. This is really cool. But not being able to do that forced me to just live in the freaking moment. And my life felt so full without social media. Honestly, my life felt more fuller's a word, fullest, whatever. My life felt more full without social media than it does with social media. So the social media hiatus has been really nice so far, and I don't plan to go back on until I'm getting ready to launch everything. Because of the move, I didn't do any work for like a week and a half, but I finally started back to work on Monday, which felt so good. And I'm glad that I took that week and a half off work because we were so busy with moving that there really wasn't a lot of time or energy left at the end of the day for me to do any work. But by last Sunday, I was feeling more settled in the apartment and here in Denver, and I was starting to feel that like anxiousness, like, okay, I'm ready to work. I'm ready to use my mind. I want to think again. Am I the only one that feels that way? So it felt really good to dive back into work on Monday. And honestly, I spent the majority of the day making an insanely long to-do list because there is so much that I have to do, that I need to do. Have to do. Those words feel so heavy. But anyways, there's a lot that needs to get done before the launch of the Real Female Entrepreneur. And so I spent all day Monday just like putting it all on paper. Not really on paper. It was actually on a notepad on my computer. But you know what I mean. I got it out of my head and on paper. And then I categorized everything. I'm like, okay, there's like 100,000 to-dos on this list. That may be a gross exaggeration. Where in the hell should I start? And so I created like 4 or 5 different categories of things that I needed to do. And then I prioritized them and I said, okay, this needs to happen this week. And this is what must happen first. And so that's where I've started. I'm almost done with the tagline and description. And that feels really good. I am going to run it by a few people this week and get some feedback on it and make sure that it really embodies everything that I want the tagline to embody for the Real Female Entrepreneur. But that's been a really like large part of my week so far, is just brainstorming and asking myself all these questions like, who is the Real Female Entrepreneur? What does she want? What are all the things? We don't have to go into that. But anyways, I've spent the week trying to finalize the tagline and description. And I'm so excited to share it with you so soon. It's going to be so good. Speaking of, if you want all of the sneak peeks, like as the launch is getting ready to happen, make sure you sign up for my email list down below. There's a link in the description. That's what I mean by down below there. And next, I am getting ready to start work on the website. So the homepage is all but done, but it's every other page. There's so many updates. There's so many improvements that I want to make from the old Grit and Glitter Co. website for the new, the Real Female Entrepreneur website. And I'm really excited to dive into that. So yeah, that's what I'm working on right now. I have watched one too many Instagram stories and YouTube videos and read one too many blog posts and seen too many behind the scenes of someone working on a really cool new project, to know that when you see someone doing something like this and moving and doing all the things, that it just looks like life is awesome and exciting and amazing, and they must just feel on top of the world all the time. And that's true a lot of the time right now, because I am really excited about all of this, but it's not always true. And the hardest part for me right now is money. This was the hardest part for me when I started out on this journey. If you go back, it's like week 1 and week 2's videos. So it's so interesting that this would still be like such a hard thing for me, but this is the longest that I've ever gone without an income. And it's not that we have to have my income to survive. Not at all. But to not have an income and to not feel like I'm bringing that to our family, me and Josh, I feel really insecure about that. And this is something that I've known and I'm working on, but it's really hard. It's really hard because I don't feel like I have a leg to stand on. I'm not a mom. I think that for, a lot of women or men, when they become a mother or a father and one partner chooses to stay at home with the children, it's really easy to justify not having an income that you're bringing into the family because you're doing something so huge, like you are raising your child or children. For me right now, I'm just chasing a dream. And so the other day, Josh was watching this Netflix documentary, and it was about cars or racing or something, but there was this male entrepreneur, and he was sharing about his journey, and he was saying, if I could tell young people one thing, it would be this, and it's, to follow your passion and to do this thing and to know that it's going to be hard, but, and it made me really emotional, and I started crying because Josh had called me out to watch it. He's like, you gotta, come here and hear what he has to say. But an hour before that, we had just been going through our budget and planning for finances and all the things now that we've moved. And as he was showing me this clip from the documentary, I just started crying. And I said, I'm so glad that you showed me this because it reminds me that I'm doing the right thing right now. But at the same time, I want you to know that I feel so insecure right now because I don't have an income that I'm bringing into our family. And it's just really weird and it's really hard. And money is really hard for the majority of humans. That's the hardest part for me right now. I would say the second hardest part is the doubt. 1 minute I'm on top of the mountain like, I'm going to do this and it's going to be amazing. And then the next, I'm like, what if it doesn't work? What next? And I try really hard not to sit in that place. I try really hard to stay in a positive mindset where I'm just imagining the best case scenario. And I'm working on my money insecurities and all the things right now. Speaking of, I put this out so that I remember to tell you about it. I'm reading You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. If you've not read her first book, I've got it right here, so I'll show you. It is called You Are a Badass. It's gorgeous. This is like one of the most life-changing books I've read in the past year. And if you've listened to the podcast, I've talked about this a lot. But I'm now reading the book You Are a Badass at Making Money by the same author. And it has been transformative already. So I'm really just trying to focus on positive mindset around not just this launch and it going really well, but around money. Easier said than done, trust me. But that's just where I am right now. So, it's exciting. There's so much good stuff that has happened in our lives, but there's a lot of, doubts and fears and just weird feelings too. I think the thing that we don't talk about a lot with moving is that adjustment period. Like once you move somewhere new, and Denver's not new for us because we used to live here, but it's new in the sense that we've been gone for a year and a half. When you move somewhere that you're really excited about, you have that honeymoon phase, like with any relationship where it's, this is the greatest thing in the world and life's amazing and then it hits you that this is just normal life and you've got to figure out your new grocery schedule and which grocery store you're going to go to and where is the post office, by the way, and where is my new favorite coffee shop and where are we going to walk the dog in the morning or at night, like what are our new dog looks like, all the things. And settling into that place of reality again when you're coming off of this really big high just feels weird. And I think I'm kind of there right now, just in that weird place where I'm settling back into reality. But you gotta do it! So, there you go. That's the update. That's all the things. I am excited to see what the next month holds because the past 2 to 3 months have been so transformative. But I kind of went into this with just like a really big vision of what I was getting myself into. And I feel like that has become like smaller and more narrow and more clear and more defined. And I'm so excited to work on the launch and the rebrand. And I'm so excited to share with you the Real Female Entrepreneur so soon. So be sure to check out the new website and the logo. If you haven't, I will link to the website below, and you can also sign up there to be the first to know when everything goes live. And of course, subscribe here on YouTube and stay tuned, because I will be continuing to share these weekly videos. And now that we're moved and settled in, they will be back to weekly videos and taking you behind the scenes of all of this. So thank you for following along here on this journey. It means so much to me. It makes me emotional. It means so much to me. There's some of you who will email or comment or just, let me know that you're watching the videos, and that means so much. So I would love to get to know you more. You watching this video, who are you? Comment below, leave your website below so I can check out you and what you do. Tell me a little bit about yourself. I would love to get to know you more. And I will see you next week for week 13's video diary update. Also because of the move, now I'm picking up my skirt now. Is there an E here? Should there be another E? I know, there's a lot of E's. What's wrong with me? What is in my eye? Well, that's a wrap.